Ken Coscia here, the Silva Method's Training Director. And today I'd like to share with you some information because there's so much available out there today to learn the Silva Method. So many options that probably the most frequent question that I receive and our instructors across the globe receive is, what is the difference? And it can get confusing. We have books, we have online programs, we have mini online programs, full programs. I mean, it just goes on. Plus, since we've been around since 1966, and we're probably the oldest brand out there offering and the most copied, most imitated program, there have been a lot of changes, there have been a lot of updates. So from the point of view of somebody who's been there from the very beginning, I'm now going into my 53rd year. I serve as the training director. I travel the globe, serving our graduates with both the core foundation program that we now call Silva Life and Intuition System, and also certifying new instructors. I'd like to share with you some information that I think will help you to make a more intelligent decision and also to know whether this is even for you or not. So for example, way back in the early 70s, Mr. Silva, Jose Silva, the founder, creator of this program, co-wrote a book with Philip Mealy called The Silva Mind Control Method. It's my favorite. It's a very complete overview of the program, and Mr. Silva even gives you exercises. You've probably, if you're a student of the Silva Method, read this book. It's excellent. The only difference, what's missing, is having an instructor there guiding you. So there are many books available that Mr. Silva wrote, and depending on you, your learning style, how you absorb or not, depends on how much value you'll get. But surely you can get good value from any of the books because there are exercises, things that as long as you apply, you'll find value in them. You'll get results with that. However, the challenge with any of these books written by Mr. Silva and others is that when a question comes up, it can be a very simple question like, how high do I keep my eyes? And do I have to hold my eyes up in that 20-degree angle constantly, or just and the answer is no. It's like a light switch. But even a simple question like that, let alone about visualization or clarification that you needed, the danger is, as any student finds, when a question comes up, if we don't get an answer, it can become confusing, and it can get more confusing, and then we think, oh, we can't do it, and we give up. Can you relate? And that's a big, big, big concern I have for people who only read the books, is you're bound to, if you're a serious student, you're bound to have some questions. It goes with the territory. And it's important that those questions are answered as quickly as possible so that you can then proceed and take it to the next level and continue to progress with that. Then, of course, as time has gone by, we used to have cassettes, now, then CDs, and now everything's gone pretty much digital. So there is a home study program that's silvamethod.com, our headquarters, Silva International office. I was part of developing those home study programs, and I have to say, maybe a little biased, they're excellent. However, again, what's missing is having an instructor guiding you. So you could venture to explore that, and again, depending on you and your learning style, they include some of the meditations, the guided meditations, the presentations. However, you can just go so far when you have a pre-recorded program. A big difference would be when we do the live training virtually or in person, and you've got an instructor guiding you, it's the complete course. We cover all the material, all the exercises, and you're interacting with the instructor step by step as you move through. So as questions come up, they're answered immediately. As you're practicing with the exercises, you get immediate feedback as to how it's going, and you have an instructor there guiding you, helping you to make adjustments so that you get better results. That's priceless as far as I'm concerned. I do a lot of reading. I listen to other thought leaders' videos. And I also find that when I'm there with them live, in person, it's a game changer. Virtual comes close, but there's nothing like being in person. Have you noticed? Then there's, of course, Mind Valley. God bless them. Vishen Lakhiani, who I know well, he came and got involved in 2006 officially with the organization, and especially in 2007. He's got a great story how he used the Silva Method to build his business, which was not doing too well around 2005, 2006. However, he came after Mr. Silva passed away, which is around 98, 99-ish for that. So he never met the man, never had the training with Jose Silva as I did myself. And there are few instructors left globally who had the pleasure to work with Mr. Silva. I worked with him for a good actually 3 decades, learning from him, studying and following him around with that. So Vishen Lakhiani and Mind Valley has put together an excellent introduction to the program. It's 12 hours of pre-recorded videos. He does a superb job. He's a fabulous presenter. Again, though, what's missing is, well, 2 things. One is it's not the actual coursework. It's his interpretation of the coursework, and he very creatively put together different aspects, different tools, techniques that come from some of the graduate work that we do on healing, like the 3 scenes technique, comes from the Ultra Seminar Jose created, and some other exercises. So it's not the complete program. And second, it's also missing what? An instructor there with you, guiding you step by step and answering your questions. I would also say, my friends, is, again, it's up to you. Study what you can. Get as much out of it as you can. Do your best. And again, depends on your learning style. However, what I would say to you is, if you look at the studies on high performance, on peak performance, one of the terms that I think they coined was deliberate practice. And what that means is, deliberate practice means you practice something, you apply it, and then you get immediate feedback. Not even an hour later, let alone days, weeks, or months later. Immediate. And the studies have shown that when people apply deliberate practice to learn something, it's a game changer. It's the fastest, most effective way to learn. So, for example, the whole mission, the whole purpose of the Silva Method is to awaken your intuition, your ESP, so to speak, your subjective faculties of mind, and help you to develop them and apply it in your life so you make better, wiser decisions, so that you get into that wonderful flow state, which is a fairly new term that Csikszentmihalyi Mihai, when he was working at Claremont University as a psychologist, coined. And it simply is an expression that means it's like the universe has got your back, and you experience what Carl Jung called way back synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that help you to progress, to do better, to advance. So deliberate practice is so very important. And when it comes to developing your intuition, we've all got it. And I tell people when they come into the immersion with me, you bring everything you need. You've got it. I'm not giving you anything. The Silva Method's not giving you anything except what? A training. Very specific techniques and tools that you can apply to develop your own human potential, to bring it to another level. So, for example, when it comes to intuition, you know as well as I do, and you can read any of the books and some of the home studies, and they tell you, exercises, things to do. But how do you know that it's really you can trust it, your intuition? How do you know that it's not wishful thinking? There are many distortions to intuition. How do you know it's not just fear-based thinking? You're in survival mode or worried. It's a slippery slope. The most effective way to improve your intuition is, again, deliberate practice, where you get immediate feedback, and it's a lifelong process of awakening, developing, and getting to the point where you go on autopilot. And in the class, in the actual coursework, it's 40 hours of training with an instructor guiding you, even virtually, which comes pretty close. My favorite is in person. Most people agree with me, but sometimes it's just not practical for you. And I would say virtual, thanks to the technology of Zoom, comes really close, pretty close, because you're interacting with the group, you're interacting with the instructor, you're there. And I would also add that a big difference from some of these big mega events and when you're doing something online or by yourself is you're in an intimate setting. The organizational model that we use in our training is we have hundreds of instructors all over the globe. Is you're there in a group of anywhere from 10, 20, 30, maybe 50, maybe even up to 100. But you're not lost in the crowd of thousands of people or hundreds of people, and you're just a face in the crowd. So the instructor is watching you and guiding you and has you and it's got your back and can, because of the training we provide to our instructors, they can tell how you're doing and whether you're getting it or not, and can therefore then help you and guide you and interact with you in a way that will serve you to get the best possible results. And when it comes to your intuition, all throughout the 40 hours of training, we practice, and you get immediate feedback. And you're practicing quite a few times. One big part of the class is what we call case working. We're great believers in absent healing. I know we need more research, distant healing, but our premise is that we can make a difference. Obviously, we're not 100%, but there's been so much anecdotal evidence, so much evidence, even some studies done at university levels about prayer healing, distant healing, remote healing, whatever you want to call it, that something's going on that we don't understand. And we need scientists to get on board to help us understand it so we can do even better with that. And all that's done in the training, in the class. But as we're doing what we call case working, it's similar to a medical intuition, but not quite, but similar, very similar, that Mr. Silva developed way back when he was doing his initial research between 1944 and 1966, where you close your eyes, you enter what we call your alpha state, your level, in a relaxed state, and you imagine a situation, a person, a business, whatever it might be, but it could be someone who needs some help. And you, in your imagination, in this quiet, relaxed, what we call alpha theta state, come up with tangible information about the person, and you're working with somebody who knows this person, so you know nothing about them, but they do. And they give you immediate feedback on the spot. It's priceless, because in that state, you're then able to say, and compare and contrast when you were correct, spot on, which happens, and when you were way off, which also happens, and when you were pretty close. And you begin to recognize how you think. Are you getting your intuitive impressions visually? Are you getting them at a feeling level, kinesthetically? Are you getting them hearing, like almost as if you're hearing a voice guiding you or something? Or are you getting it through what they call claircognizance, just a sense of knowing? And that's so important because we all have a different communication style, both objectively and subjectively. And when you've got somebody giving you that feedback, you begin to respect and honor your own style, and you begin to trust it. And with trust, that's when the magic happens. That's when you bring out more, because you have a confidence that you can do this, you've got this. Not because you're just saying, yeah, I've got this, but because you've been there, you've got evidence to support your experience. Cannot say enough about that. Way back when, famous psychologists developed, Albert Ellis developed rational emotive therapy. And he talked a lot about having evidence to support your conviction that you're okay, that you deserve success, because you have evidence in your past to support that. You've been there, you've done it. And now you're in a similar situation. And that's what we're doing all throughout the live training when you've got an instructor guiding you. You're building your successes, you're applying the techniques. And yes, if you know the Silva Method, we also teach you all sorts of tools, how to harness your human potential, to sleep better at night, to wake up without an alarm clock, to take command of your life from the inside out and manage your inner dialogue so that it becomes your best friend and not your worst enemy, to manage your imagination because it's so key. Whatever we give attention to, we give energy to. Whatever we give energy to will grow and multiply. And unfortunately, people don't realize when they should on themselves, when they worry, they're actually what? Mentally rehearsing what they don't want. And the more you mentally rehearse something, there are dozens, if not possibly hundreds of studies showing the efficacy, the great value of mental rehearsal, imagery, visualization, to improve in sports, to improve in sales, to enrich in a relationship. But it's a skill like any other skill, and it needs development and practice. So my friends, I hope this serves you and see the difference. And I hope one day that I'll meet you in a live training, either virtually or ideally in person. Or we have instructors all over now. I'm working on getting a new team of people here in the U.S. So that we have more available to you on a local level, because that's key. But again, if you're reading the books, if you're taking the online program, great. Stick to it, practice, and let it serve as a good introduction of what you can expect, because it's really a lifelong process. And there's no quick fix. I wish there were. I really do. But there isn't. It's just that simple. And I believe in you. I believe you've got this ability. And I don't just say that to be nice, because you've got this human potential. It might be obvious to you. It might be dormant, sleeping a bit. Sometimes it's hard to believe that I've got this incredible human potential. I know. I've been there myself. But with a little bit of training and practice and then support. And that's also so important too. I want to add one last thought for you is whether you do it online or whoever you're studying, make sure, ask, find out what do they offer after the fact, the initial training, to support you. Because too many go through a training and that's it. And they're thrilled, they're happy with it. But if you don't get some sort of support, some encouragement over the weeks and months that follow the initial training, it's too easy to slip back into the old patterns that don't serve us. We slip into them by default. And I'm very proud to say, very happy to say, and please, recognizing that I've been doing this. I've done hundreds and hundreds of these classes. I've been involved actively, full-time since 1953, and I've come to realize how important support is. It's actually my forte, because that's how I got started. I was the director of the largest graduate organization in the world, here in New England, in the USA, and I hung out and spent time every day of the week with graduates, people, fellow graduates who went through the training, and I began to understand what was getting in the way, what was holding them back, what were some of the quirks that interfered with them getting the best possible results. And that's what our instructors offer, and I hope if you're an instructor listening to this, that you're offering more and more support to your students after the fact. So we do virtual reunions where we go through, we offer video training, some MP3s, one-on-one coaching that I do complimentary for my students when they go through the class. So my friends, again, I hope this helps and serves you. I look forward to working with you one day, and take care of yourself and just know that you've got this and you've got the ability. You've just got to make sure that you have a support system, a network of people encouraging you, opportunities to build on what you know and to integrate it in a meaningful way, because it's not the information that will help you. Information is information. It's important. You know, we used to say knowledge is power. Knowledge is just the beginning of the power. Implementation of the knowledge you have is key, and that's where the real power is. So take care. Until the next time, thank you for listening.